think it's important to start by asking, why are communication skills so important? Or put another way, why is the way you communicate with others so important? Before I continue with this video, I want you to ask yourself, what's important to you when exchanging in a transaction with other people? Is it that you feel listened to? Is it that your views are appreciated and respected by others? Is it that that other person can see your perspective? Is it that you are treated like an individual, maybe given the full attention of the other person? Whatever is important to you, you can be sure is going to be important to your patients. Right now, it feels that we live in a world that is full on. It's fast-paced, we have a lot of work to do and very little time to do it in. We can feel that we have a huge amount of pressure on our shoulders. This can mean that our communication becomes less of a priority. When you are rushed off your feet with 101 things to do, isn't it easier to be quick and direct, emotionally detached, and just very clear about how we feel and what we want? Well, the answer is yes and no. We are all pressured by deadlines and heavy workloads. But if that means that you talk too quickly, then you might end up being unclear and misunderstood and have to repeat yourself. If you are too direct, then you risk coming across as aggressive. If you don't show empathy, you risk coming across as uncaring and uninterested. And if you only think about yourself, you will come across as arrogant, without empathy, and impossible to talk to. All of this can cause a breakdown in relationships and make progression difficult. This is where good communication skills come in. My name is Charlotte Grundy from Point Taken Training, and I'm here to help you with your communication skills to better your relationships with patients and colleagues. Effective communication requires more than an exchange of information. When done right, communication fosters understanding, strengthens relationships, improves teamwork, and builds trust. Communication includes three main components: non-verbal communication, verbal communication, and paraverbal communication. Imagine these three things as a three-legged stool. If any of them are off in some way, then the stool is unbalanced and won't work. We must try and be consciously aware of balancing all three elements when we communicate with others. Non-verbal communication. This is how we use our body language to express our thoughts. This includes hand gestures and facial expressions. Our non-verbal communication should support and enhance the words we use. When we communicate with others, we don't just listen, we see as well. And in environments where there is a lot of background noise, we may rely on what we see to connect the dots if we haven't been able to hear everything. If we want to make those around us feel safe, at ease, and able to trust us, then we have to make sure our body language and non-verbal cues give off that right impression. We often pick up on the atmosphere based on the body language being given off. If you are explaining something, then it can be easier for the audience to understand if you use your body language to complement the explanation. Maybe you are explaining an illness and it would be helpful to point to that area of the body. Or maybe in a discussion you can use visual aids or models. Not only do you have to consider your own body language and if you're sending out the right messages, but can you read the non-verbal cues from others? Is what they are saying being supported or contradicted by their body language? Verbal communication. This refers to the words we have chosen to use and the arrangement of those words. We all have our own association with words. If I was to say to you, what is the first thing you think of when I say the word pink? Now, it might be a rose or a balloon, but to someone else, it might be rosy cheeks or a sunset. My point here is that even though we can all understand English, some words mean different things to different people. This means that I could say something that you may take offence to when that wasn't my intention at all. Or you may not grasp the severity of a situation based on the words that I have used. Or there may be confusion and misunderstanding. Maybe you are using too much medical jargon and your patient doesn't understand what you've said and is too afraid to ask. All it takes is for you to take a moment before you speak to consider the other person's feelings and perspectives, and to ask yourself, is this the best word choice, or is there something more suitable to use? One tip I have is to really listen to your patient and then use the words, terminologies, and expressions they use. And also don't be afraid to ask the patient if they have understood what's been said and if they have any questions. Another good idea is to ask your patient to repeat back, in their own words, what you have discussed. That way you can be sure they have a full understanding. Paraverbal communication. This is how we say the words that we have chosen. Do we sound happy, sad, aggressive, disinterested? The words have been chosen carefully and you are really aware of your body language and the non-verbal cues of your patient. But now we need to think about how the voice is sounding. Are you loud enough? Does the tone of your voice match the emotion? Are you able to show empathy through the tone of your voice? So when you say, "I'm sorry to hear that," do you sound like you really mean it? Or does it just sound robotic and removed of emotion? I will look at these 3 components in more detail in upcoming videos. But for now, here are some more reasons why communication skills are so important. They form the foundations for future transactions. You may see your patient several times, so your relationship should develop and grow with each meeting. Your patient will be talking about very personal situations that may make them feel exposed, vulnerable, and uncomfortable. Effective communication will help them to feel more relaxed, safe, and supported. And once your patient trusts you and feels safe, they will be more open to hearing your suggestions and will be more compliant. Promotes confidence and trust in both the doctor and patient. With good communication, your patient will have confidence in you and your ability. And as the doctor, you will have confidence that your patient has understood you, your thoughts, and expectations. Brings a high level of satisfaction to the patient. You want your patient to leave feeling positive about your interactions. If your patient feels unsatisfied, disrespected, or unhappy, there is a chance that they may not want to see you again, or they may make a complaint against you, and in the worst case scenario, may take out legal action against you. Helps to keep to time restrictions. The clinical setting is very time poor, with many pressures to keep to a tight schedule. Effective, clear, concise communication will help to keep to these deadlines, whilst successfully negotiating you and your patient through and concluding your consultation. Ensures the patient feels listened to. One of the most powerful tools for a doctor is the ability to listen. It is vital that you listen to the patient's concerns without distraction, assumption, or judgment. Helps to keep the stress levels down of both the doctor and patient. If a consultation has not gone well due to poor communication, it can leave the doctor feeling angry, frustrated, and deflated. These negative feelings could then carry on to the next consultation and be taken out on the next patient, which only perpetuates the bad feeling and negativity. This means you have a bad day and your patient leaves feeling unhappy. Makes a patient feel respected as an individual and empowered to make the necessary changes to their lives. As individuals, we are all quite different. We have different ways of thinking, and we have different ways we like to be spoken to. If you can learn to understand your patient and communicate to them as an individual, your interaction will be much more effective and your patient will respond to you in a much more positive way. Using the correct body language to create the appropriate first impression. Once we are aware of our body language and its effects, Then we can make sure our non-verbal communication matches and supports our verbal communication. You feel confident that the patient has the right understanding of their illness and knows how to handle their medication and necessary adaptations to their lifestyle. Good, effective communication will mean that you have clearly understood your patient, their needs, expectations, and concerns, and that the patient has understood yours, and together you reach a shared decision and conclusion that you are both happy with. Hopefully you understand why communication skills are so important, and that they are the foundation to effective, constructive, positive relationships with all the people around us. Communication is only effective when we communicate in a way that is meaningful to the recipient, not ourselves. I'm Charlotte Grundy from Point Taken Training, and thank you for watching this video on why communication skills are so important. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to my channel, where I'll be posting more content on a regular basis. And if you have any comments, any questions, or there's anything in particular that you'd like to see in any upcoming videos, then please leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching.